Hello everyone, I am an expert in the study of human cultural history. Throughout my journey of studying civilizations, I have witnessed how the ancient generations have faced old age, from wise kings, sages, to ordinary people in each era. Today, we will look at old age, not as a battle against time, but as a continuation of the epic of life, based on lessons from the past so that we know how to appreciate the present. 1. The feeling of being abandoned by time, through the lens of history. Observation of ancient culture. In many civilizations, the elderly were respected for their experience, such as the sages in the royal court, the wise teachers in the village. But there were also times when society valued healthy young people for labor and fighting. The feeling of being left behind is not new. From ancient Rome to feudal times, there were times when the elderly felt they no longer had a core role. Historical lesson. When studying historical books, we see those who made great contributions in the previous period, when later still seek to consult or record their experiences. The key is attitude. If we resist the role change, we will confine ourselves to the image of the past youth, causing suffering. But when looking at traditions, the elder withdraws from the responsibility, but still acts as a wise advisor. We understand that old age is a period of role change, and not necessarily emphasis. Old age is not an absolute loss, but rather a stepping into a different role in the community, based on the historical experience of many generations. 2. Impermanence and the flow of time in history. The concept of impermanence through history. Many ancient philosophies and religions have mentioned impermanence. From Buddhism, Lao Tzu, to ancient Greek philosophy, the history of nations shows that dynasties rise and fall, people grow young and grow old, and generations change. When we look at this chain of changes, we realize accepting the flow allows us to exist more peacefully. Cultural evidence. In Japan, the art of wabi-sabi appreciates the beauty of deterioration, the traces of time on ceramics or in architecture. In the West, the Renaissance movement also recognized the value of the past, accepting the traces of time on ancient works. That spirit inspires the way we embrace old age, not forcing ourselves to remain the same, but seeing the hidden value in experience and the traces of time. Emphasis. Like the rise and fall of dynasties, human life also operates in cycles. Accepting impermanence is learning from history to live peacefully. 3. Role switching based on past experience. The role of the elderly in history. In East Asian dynasties, elders served as advisors and kept traditions. In ancient Western societies, elders regulated tribal life. They no longer shouldered the heavy work directly, but their experience and knowledge were considered invaluable asset. Lessons for the present. As we enter the age of time, let us consider ourselves as historical storytellers, sharing experiences, guiding young people. Instead of regretting the loss of physical ability, let us use our life archive to help the community, like the old people of the past. Emphasis. Old age can shift from a role of intense labor to a role of sharing wisdom, as living chronic. 4. Comprehensive care based on cultural heritage. Traditional nutrition. Many ancient cultures had diets for the elderly. For example, traditional Chinese medicine or Vietnamese Oriental medicine adjusted foods according to season and age. In ancient Europe, monasteries recorded herbal remedies for the elderly. Learn, choose foods according to historical principles. Vegetables, whole grains, herbs that support health. Appropriate activities. Observe the gentle practices of the ancients. Meditation, yoga, garden walks, spiritual rituals, all aimed at keeping the mind calm and the body light. We can inherit gentle movement, maintaining a connection with nature, traditional meditation or visualization practices, sleep and rest. In many cultures, the rules of life, rising early, taking a nap, have helped the elderly maintain a stable biological rhythm. Apply, balance, sleep with a natural cycle like the ancients, respecting the body's rhythm. Examine and learn from ancient wisdom. Study ancient medical literature and historical documents on the health of older adults to select appropriate knowledge. For example, herbal remedies that have been proven over centuries. At the same time, combine modern medicine to balance. Emphasis body-mind. Care for the elderly can combine historical heritage, from folk knowledge to spiritual rituals, to find a suitable path for today. 5. Respect and gratitude. Respect for experience. In the past, the elderly were often living knowledge, preserving traditions and culture. That attitude encourages us today. Let us cherish ourselves for having lived through many events and accumulating knowledge. Each wrinkle is a testament to our personal history. Be grateful for the past. Just like studying history, we are grateful for those who have gone before us to give the next generation a foundation. Similarly, be grateful for the journey you have taken, the challenges you have overcome, the lessons you have learned. This reflection will help you feel more at peace when looking at old age. Part 2. Your body will change, but turn it into a source of personal history. This section will focus on the changing body, no longer seen as a betrayal, but as a biological record, a marker of time, similar to archaeological artifacts that tell the story of the past. We will turn physical loss into a resource for understanding ourselves and our shared culture. 1. Betrayal or personal historical legacy. Historical evidence. Famous people in old age often switched from vigorous physical activities to intellectual contributions. Confucius taught his students in his old age. The old Romanopian continued to draft laws. Eastern Zen masters preached they did not see their declining bodies as a defeat, but as a sign to change their method of contribution. Modern perspective. When the body signals its limits, do not see it as a betrayal, but as an archaeological relic of your own life. Every fatigue, every physical vestige is data for us to adjust our lifestyle. Just as historians analyze artifacts to draw out the context, we listen to our bodies to understand our real needs. Emphasis. Body changes our personal historical data, helping us to write a new page suitable to our current abilities. 2. Metaphor of artifacts and relics. Respect and acceptance. Archaeological metaphor. When excavating a site, archaeologists do not throw away the fragments. They restore and cherish the remaining value to understand ancient civilizations. Our bodies are like artifacts. Wrinkles, tired joints, and reduced capacity are meaningful fragments. Instead of denying them, we cherish them and find new ways to reassemble them. Adjusting movement, nutrition, and psychology. Practiced. When your knee joints start to crack, consider it a note to change your exercise routine. Light walking, ancient yoga, moving meditation. When your energy levels drop, adjust your activity and rest times like the rules of life in the ancient imperial court. Clear work and rest times. Emphasis. Cherish physical fragments to restore a suitable life, like restoring relics to tell stories of the past. 3. Shifting the traditional care approach. Traditional diet. Refer to ancient medical literature. Eastern medicine, Ayurveda, European folk medicine all have menus for the elderly, rich in nutrients but easy to digest, combined with herbs to support digestion, nourishing without burden. Combine modern research to adjust to individual conditions. Exercise based on cultural heritage. Many cultures have exercises for seniors. Tai Chi, Qigong, pre-practiced yoga, ritual walking around temples. Choose activities that are appropriate for your physical condition. Consider them as continuing a long-standing tradition. Create a sense of historical connection and mental relaxation. Rest and regeneration rituals. In the past, people respected biological rhythms. Waking up with the sun, taking a nap, sleeping early. Apply some of this. Create a reasonable lifestyle, respecting the needs of the body. Meditating, visualizing, or reading books about history helps calm the mind. Emphasis. Care, according to ancient cultural traditions, is both effective and creates a sense of connection with the flow of human history. 4. The chronicler mindset about the body. Recording and observation. Historians record events in detail. We also record our bodily sensations. Every change, every improvement after the new regime. Through observation, we draw our own rules and adjust accordingly. Sharing resources. Just like sharing historical data, we share experiences with the community, groups of people of similar age or cultural background. This helps to support each other and create a network to preserve knowledge about aging health. Applying historical wisdom. When analyzing health, we learn from personal and community history. For example, what stages of illness there were, how to overcome them, and what the results were. From there, we form a record that helps us navigate the next care path. Emphasis. See yourself as living material to study and share. Bring in the spirit of chronicling into 5. Respect and pride in the stamp of time. Personal marks as historical evidence. Wrinkles and freckles on the body are evidence of experience, like cultural relics, marking the ups and downs of a nation. Be proud of that mark. because it is what makes up your identity and value. A tradition of honoring the elderly. Many ancient civilizations respected the elderly. Families and communities looked to them for advice. Maintain a confident attitude. Even if your physical strength is reduced, you have a valuable store of knowledge and experience to contribute. Part 3. No one stays forever, but historical heritage and memory live on. 1. The impermanence of relationships through the ages. Historical evidence. During dynasties, many close relationships between kings and friends and officials were deeply attached. But political changes, rebellions, or dynastic regulations caused them to separate. In the old family, war and migration also separated relatives. These changes led to sadness, but at the same time, the community built rituals to remember and continue traditions. Lesson: relationships are when we look at the chain of social change, we understand that personal separation is part of the common journey. Accepting impermanence helps us reduce resistance and appreciate each encounter more. Emphasis: as history constantly changes, relationships are born and die. Understanding this is the first step to staying safe. 2. Cultural heritage metaphors and collective memory metaphor. Cultural heritage monuments. Intangible heritage, folklore, endures through the ages. Personal relationships are like heritage. Even when people leave, memories and influences remain in the community. Practice: when you lose a relationship, instead of just grieving, write down the memories, stories, and lessons they gave you. Just like storing cultural heritage, we preserve our personal spiritual heritage to pass on to the next generation or share with friends in the community. Emphasis: heritage and collective memory show that emotions are not completely lost, but are transformed into documents for us to preserve and spread. 3. Cherish the present and the ritual of keeping historical rituals. In the past, people held funerals and memorials to acknowledge the role of the deceased, creating conditions for the community to share pain and preserve memories. Today, we can create our own rituals, writing diaries, creating sharing groups, organizing gatherings to remember friends and relatives. Cherish the present. Just as history records every important moment, we should also cherish the moments with our loved ones. A meal, a conversation. Don't delay, because the flow of personal history is always changing. Emphasis: rituals and attitudes of appreciation for the present help us preserve memories and reduce regret when parting. 4. Transform loss into new legacy. New legacy. When a relationship ends, we can create a new legacy from the experience. Lessons in forgiveness, growth, artistic creation, or community service. Just as a new culture is born from tragedy, individuals can also create new values from pain. Historical examples. Many cultural movements are born out of tragedy. War, literature, new post-crisis philosophies. Similarly, personal loss can lead to creativity. Writing memoirs, poems, music, or starting projects to support people in similar situations. Emphasis: loss does not just close an old chapter, but can start a new one, becoming a valuable legacy for yourself and the community. 5. Open yourself up to new connections based on historical lessons, new opportunities in personal history. History shows that civilizations take on new elements when they interact. The combination creates a richer legacy. The same is true of personal relationships. After loss, if we open our hearts, we can meet new people, creating connections based on the experience of growth. Practice: use listening skills, share from previous experiences, contribute to building deep connections with newcomers, such as people accepting other cultures to create a richer foundation. Part 4. Beauty faded, but the inner historical beauty begins. This section will discuss fading beauty. Instead of seeing it as an absolute loss, let us look at it from the perspective of cultural heritage and personal history. Every trace of time on the face, every gray hair is evidence of the journey, opening up an inner beauty based on historical experience and wisdom. 1. Fear of losing appearance through the lens of ancient and modern society and historical evidence. In ancient Greek culture, the god of youth was honored, but also the old sages were praised. In ancient China, old age was associated with noble positions such as old scholars, teachers, and was a place to entrust wisdom. However, through many stages, the concept of youthful beauty spread, creating pressure to stay young forever. This reality is not new. Understanding the context helps us feel secure. Seeing social trends change, we should not blame ourselves. Lesson for the present: the pressure to stay fit and beautiful causes anxiety, but consider it a social phenomena through the ages. We can choose to stand outside that trend, towards more lasting values, experience, knowledge, personality. Emphasis: the pressure to look good is not just today. History shows two sides. Praising youth and cherishing wisdom, we choose to honor inner beauty. 2. Cultural heritage metaphor: fading flowers and lasting heritage. Cherry blossoms and the pine. In Japan, cherry blossoms symbolize fleeting beauty and are associated with pine trees are revered for their durability. Cultural history uses this metaphor to encourage people to appreciate both finite beauty and lasting value. Personal application: wrinkles are like flowers that have withered. Gray hair is a symbol of accumulated wisdom. Inner beauty arises from understanding the past, like cultural heritage that retains timeless value. Emphasis: inner beauty is like a lasting legacy after the flowers have faded. Celebrate deeper values than outward appearances. 3. Taking care of the appearance. Through knowledge of medical history and ancient art, practice based on traditional medicine, study ancient medical literature, herbal preparation, seasonal diet, natural beauty rituals, combined with modern research to choose skin and hair care methods suitable for old age, not following the trend of going against time, but aiming to maintain health and natural freshness. Art and clothing through the ages. Consider clothing worn by seniors throughout history. Many cultures celebrate simplicity, elegance, and respect for role and status. Learn how to choose appropriate clothing and style to help express confidence and self-respect as your appearance changes. Spirit through historical expression. In ancient paintings and sculptures, the faces of sages are often calm and profound, expressing inner beauty that transcends time. When filming videos or communicating, practice peaceful expressions, deep eyes, and warm voices, conveying historical values about the beauty of old age. Emphasis: exterior care does not pursue anti-aging, but is based on knowledge of medical history and aesthetics to honor nature and inner strength. 4. Nurture inner beauty. Through a legacy of knowledge and compassion, learn from the wisdom of our ancestors. Read the works of philosophers, historians, and ancient literature to enrich your soul with experiences. Sharing historical analysis helps keep your mind sharp and creates a foundation for inner beauty. Compassion through community history. Many traditions honor acts of kindness and community responsibility in old age, guiding younger generations. Participate in social activities based on personal experience, showing the beauty of humanity. Meditate and reflect on history. Spend time meditating on historical events, reflecting on past lessons to develop an open and tolerant perspective. Peace of mind, compassion arise, beautifying the inner self. Emphasis: inner beauty arises from connecting intellectual heritage and practical compassion, as human history combines experience to move forward. 5. Looking through the lens of personal history, historical mirror meditation exercise. When you look in the mirror, instead of just seeing wrinkles, think of the evidence. Each wrinkle is like a chapter in your personal history. Say to yourself, "This is a trace of my journey. I am proud to have lived a full life." Like a historian standing before a relic, contemplate the meaning of each trace. Record and compare progress. Record the current state and changes from the past. From there, draw lessons for future care, similar to analyzing relics over time for conservation and restoration. Part 5. The loved one leaves, but the feelings remain. Part 5 will discuss loss. The departure of a loved one is not only a personal experience, but also reflects a common turning point in human history. But the emotional legacy lives on in memories and continuing actions. 1. Loss in personal and collective history. Historical evidence. During wars, natural disasters, and migrations, many communities have witnessed collective loss. Families separated, property destroyed, but they recorded, told stories, and preserved memories through folk songs and legends. Individuals also experience loss of relatives and friends. Looking at history, we see that loss is inevitable, and at the same time, it is the reason for people to create memorial rituals and continue core values. Lesson: personal loss is similar to collective loss. Both require ritual and ways of preserving a legacy to avoid sinking into endless regret. Emphasis loss is an essential part of personal and collective history. Understanding this helps us prepare ourselves and build rituals to preserve our emotional legacy. 2. Historical stories and memorial ceremonies. Cultural examples. In the West, funerals, commemorations of death, and the collection of remains for memorial purposes. In East Asia, Vulan festival is to remember ancestors and show gratitude. Many indigenous peoples have rituals to remember heroes and the dead through storytelling and art. Application. When we experience personal loss, we can create rituals. Writing letters, sharing stories on social media, holding gatherings to talk about the deceased, planting trees in memory. These rituals help us and our community share our grief and maintain our emotional legacy. Emphasis. The memorial ceremony is not only for the previous generation, but also helps the current and future generations understand the value of emotional heritage and stay connected to the past. 3. The grieving process as a historical development. Compare it to the sequence of historical events. History has stages of crisis, reconstruction, and recovery. Personal grief also goes through stages: shock, resistance, sadness, acceptance, and regeneration. This awareness helps us not to rush ourselves to get over it too quickly, but to allow each stage to occur naturally. Practice. Keep an emotional journal like a personal chronicle. Document the stages of grief, the painful moments, and the gradual recovery. When you look back, you will see a pattern to the recovery process, like rebuilding a society after a crisis. Emphasis. Grief is not an endless darkness, but a stage in the continuum of personal history that requires time and ritual to heal. 4. Preserving emotional heritage through memories and actions. Memory is historical documents. Record and recount beautiful memories with loved ones, their words, actions, and lessons they left behind. Like archiving historical documents, we preserve emotional heritage, continuing the legacy. If a loved one has a dream or project, we continue it as we would a cultural legacy, completing goals, participating in volunteer activities according to their wishes. This keeps the sentiment alive in the form of concrete actions, sharing with the community. Like bringing cultural heritage into public life, we share stories and lessons of love that have been given and continued, helping others understand and learn. Emphasis. Emotional heritage exists through memory and action. Preservation and continuity are ways to turn loss into a force for nurturing community. 5. Open yourself up to new relationships based on personal history lessons. Evidence of cultural exchange. When a civilization is lost or weakened, it often opens up to new influences, combining to create something new. Similarly, after emotional loss, we can open up to new relationships, bringing with us old experiences to build deeper bonds. Practice. Use your personal history lessons to understand the values you want in a new connection and avoid repeating mistakes. This will help your new relationship be strong and meaningful. Emphasis. Open your heart without forgetting the old heritage, but use it as a foundation for new connections that are richer in experience and deeper. 6. Community support and connection. Support groups as networks of alliances. Historically, alliances between communities have helped overcome on a personal level. When we are grieving, finding a community to share with, a support group or a shared experience group, helps us feel less alone. Sharing life lessons and learning from others' experiences is like exchanging experiences between nations. Expert consultation. As countries invite foreign experts for reconstruction, individuals can seek out psychologists or use the library of psychological knowledge based on historical experience for recovery. Emphasis. Connect and support similar to historical alliances. Recover and develop together. 7. Nurturing faith and hope through future heritage. Creating a legacy for the next generation. The act of continuing your feelings and sharing your lessons helps you leave a spiritual legacy for your children and community, just like historical documents are written for future generations to learn from. Belief in the continuing flow. History does not stop. No matter what major events happen, the flow continues. The same is true for individuals. No matter what loss, life has a new chapter. Believing in this gives hope and motivation. Part 6. Grateful for what remains a journey to completeness through history. In the previous sections, we have embraced aging, the body, relationships, and emotional legacy from a historical perspective. This final section is an exhortation to learn to appreciate what remains like historians cherish the documents that remain in order to find wholeness in the present and to plant seeds of hope for the future. 1. Gratitude is a valuable historical document concept. In history, every piece of material, no matter how small, is of immense value. Similarly, in life, what remains? Health, even if limited, memories, current relationships, the ability to perceive, are all precious materials that should be cherished. Practice every day. List the remaining materials. For example, peaceful breathing, light movement, beautiful memories, people around us, nature around us. Record them as a personal chronicle to preserve and remind you of their value. Emphasis. Gratitude is like cherishing precious historical documents, looking deeply and acknowledging the legacies present in one's life. 2. The metaphor of the historical archive and the autumn garden. Metaphor. Historical archives preserve surviving documents. Autumn gardens have fallen leaves, but the soil is still warm, new buds waiting to sprout. Think of gratitude as a spiritual archive, collecting the present value and preparing the ground for what is next. Application. When we focus on what remains, we feel more fulfilled, reducing our anxiety about lack. Then from that foundation we plant new activities, learning, connecting, creating, like growing new seeds from old materials. Emphasis. The inner history archive and personal autumn garden are metaphors for being grateful for the present and preparing for the future. 3. Meditation and reflection on personal history. Gratitude. Meditation. Take time to reflect, breathe and silently say, "Thank you for this breath that has accompanied me. Thank you for the past experiences that have taught me." Breath and memory are linked like a timeline in history, helping us recognize profound values. Body and mind scan. Observe each part of your body and mind, silently reminding yourself of gratitude. For example, thank you to my feet for taking me to many places. Thank you to my memory for recording the lesson. This practice helps reduce stress and fosters peace. Emphasis. Gratitude meditation sees breath and memory as links between the present and the past, helping us live fully. 4. Keep a gratitude journal as a personal chronicle. Directions. Each evening, write down 3 things you are grateful for. Perhaps a family, history, memory, a new cultural insight, a peaceful moment. Add your feelings and lessons learned. Benefits. Like a chronicle, a gratitude journal provides valuable material to look back on your journey. You see how you have grown and have a solid foundation to continue on. When you look back over time, you see your inner progress and feel more confident. Emphasis. A gratitude journal is both a personal, historical record and a tool for cultivating wholeness. 5. Gratitude to the community and environment through a historical perspective. Gratitude for tradition. Looking back to the past, we are grateful to the culture, ancestors, those who built the foundation for today's life. Application. Participate in activities to preserve cultural heritage. Share historical knowledge with young people. Thank nature. Human history is intertwined with nature. Today, walk in the forest, enjoy the scenery, listen to the birds. Be grateful for the ecosystem that has nurtured humanity for all eternity. Give and take. When you participate in preserving culture and protecting the environment, you pay back the past and create value for the future. The community benefits, and you feel a strong sense of meaning. Emphasis. Gratitude to community and environment is an act of historical connection, accepting heritage and contributing to the next generation. 6 specific actions to express gratitude. Visit, research and share. Go to museums, historical sites, listen to old stories to ignite gratitude, then share through articles, videos, help spread value. Get involved in a community project, help restore a historic site, teach local history to young people, or get involved in a nature conservation effort. It's a way to show your gratitude and create a new legacy. Self-care. Be grateful for your body as a living resource, and maintain proper exercise, nutrition, and sleep to continue contributing to the community. Emphasis. Gratitude must be accompanied by practical action, research, sharing, conservation, self-care, to maintain the connection between past, present, and future. 7. Maintain the integrity and hope of future history. The journey continues. Gratitude never ends, as history always opens a new chapter. Every day, find something to be grateful for amid change to nurture peace, patience. When you feel discouraged or tired, remember that your history has ups and downs, and it takes time to recover. Don't blame yourself. Just go back to gratitude and breathe to find your energy again. Trust in the flow. As human history has overcome crises, so to have we as individuals overcome difficulties based on existing resources and foundations. Believe that wholeness begins with gratitude for what remains, and then opens up hope for the future. Emphasis. Wholeness is not outside, but in the ability to be grateful for the present, like precious historical documents that help us orient the future. What actions do you take to show gratitude to the past? Your responses are valuable resources for the community. If there are any historical topics you would like to explore related to aging, memory, or culture, please let me know so I can continue. I sincerely thank you and see you in the next content.